Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a Tier 6 game in my Tier 5 Jaguar. Going over the matchmaking threats to my ship. Um, French destroyers are usually more vulnerable to. I'm gonna pause it here to go over the matchmaking. Usually the destroyers cause issues for you. Most of the French DD players I see, they have an issue getting too deep on something or too close to the enemy team, and then something like a Nicholas or even a Minakaze spots them, and the enemy team is just able to pound them. And looking at the matchmaking here, uh, most of these cruisers have relatively sorry slow slow shells, and that's going to make this ship harder to hit. Uh, if I've got speed boost active. If I don't have speed boost active, the ship is relatively mediocre as far as its top speed. Really, the ships that I want to watch out for, the HE on the Queen Elizabeth. Um, Pensacola has a bunch of guns, so does Dallas. If they catch me in close, they can do a number on me really quickly. So, the map is New Dawn at Standard Battle. I think this is my official Game 2 in Jaguar. I was part of testing these DDs, so I do have some extra games in them beyond um, what's officially part of the ship as it's in my port permanently. Now here I am. I'm actually experimenting with the new crosshair mod with the in-game dynamic crosshair being a little bugged. I think this is maybe game 2 or 3 with it for me, so I'm just kind of gonna be getting a feel for it. You may see some sloppy shooting, just because I haven't fully adjusted yet. At this point, I only had a handful of games with the crosshairs, and we're gonna see how it goes. Now, these DDs, this DD in particular has okay-ish concealment uh, at 6.3 kilometers. Um, the Nicholas can outspot you, the Minakaze can outspot me, but you know, being bottom tier, some of the tier 7 DDs, Bliska, Mayhan, tier 7 DDs will struggle to spot this. So you do get a little bit of a reprieve here. What I'm doing here, I'm trying to use these islands to creep in close. Um, I'm looking to see if I can ambush um, well, ideally I was hoping to ambush either the Minakaze or the Nicholas or something to that effect, but instead get the jump on the enemy Jaguar, and it's time basically for me to start kiting out, getting safe. Just gonna throw some torpedoes out there. The torpedoes at 8 kilometers, they're very good. 8 kilometer range at this distance, or at this tier, is very solid. You can see some of the fire chance starting to show. Now, this is, to be clear here, I do have, at this point, uh, this is a 19 point captain. I believe I have another 17 or 18 point captain earmarked for the French destroyers. This is one of the special French captains with the improved adrenaline rush. So you're really going to see adrenaline rush start ticking up as this game progresses. Um, but you know, here all I'm doing is this is one of the play styles that the French DDs have. I call this skirmishing. I am basically, you know, doing some hitting, some running, and just trying to use, you know, anything to break contact, islands, you know, whatever. And when I see opportunities, like I believe this Bayern has blown his damage control, I want to go to work on this guy. Taking a look to see if I can get shots on any of these guys over here. Doesn't look like it. Don't want to get too close to that Dallas. Gonna start throwing some shots his way. Now, a lot of people tend to want to run, it seems like they want to treat these like a Russian destroyer. They want to run AFT. They really want to stretch those guns out there. The issue with that, you're just not going to get the same kind of mileage out of your guns as you are with other ships, or with the Russian destroyers. Most of the Russian destroyers, you've got your own repair party. You've got, in a couple cases, armor. Those ships are just much friendlier to. You can see the AP penetration, and these are only the 130 millimeter guns. The 139 are obscene. They are, the 139 millimeter French guns are downright scary. But anyway, my personal thoughts are, I want to get in and I want to use this destroyer's strengths, namely the speed, the hulls. I believe all of them have improved saturation characteristics, so your hull will saturate out quicker. It's more tanky. These things don't take damage like a usual DD does, and when you see these things just, you know, all beat up and black, they're really hard to kill. Particularly if you're only landing shots on, you know, one section of the ship that's blacked out, like the stern. You really have to beat on these things, and with speed boost active and how fast these things are, it can be a real pain in the butt to try to finish one of these things off. So instead of running AFT, which with the flight times, I don't feel that you're going to be as useful with AFT. You're already, you know, this is tier 5. You're already, you know, 12.1 kilometers on the guns, and it ramps up from there with somewhere around 13 kilometers on the tier 10. Um, you don't need AFT. And yes, even that far away, the AP just goes right into cruisers. Now as I start to take damage here, you're going to start to see the adrenaline rush start ramping up. There's a Queen Elizabeth, don't want to get too close to her. And all I'm doing here is I'm just trying to take shots at ships that I think that I can hit. Here I'm trying to experiment with my AP. What will my AP do on a Pensacola, you know, at these sorts of ranges? And actually bounce that. And this is sort of experimentation that you really should be doing. This Dunkirk's come around the island. This guy is a pretty fast battleship. I'm predicting he's going to kind of wrap around the island there. And probably questionable shot there. I do get a fire out of the deal. But I'm going to start kiting back. And the issue is you look at the mini-map, you got this big blob of enemy ships here. Nothing's good going to be had for me by staying on the flank here and just being here all alone. So right now I am splitting their attention between me and my team up here, but now they're starting to look at me and they are pretty close, and that's not really where I want to be. So it's time to start skedaddling. I know this Dunkirk's blown damage control, so just going to keep working on this guy. There's the fire. One AP pen, over 600 damage. Yeah. Don't neglect your AP on these ships. The AP is fantastic. It's been buffed on most of the ships. I love it when I slow down into shells. But here we go, got the speed boost active, and it really handles like an entirely different ship under speed boost. Just that the bonus is so high, it's obscene. Now I'm just, you know, running, kiting. This is a position that a French DD wants to be in. If you're in front of a push, kiting away like this, you're a great kiting ship. Other things you can do with this ship is if you run Concealment Expert, you've got more room to stealth torp, so if you're able to ambush and eliminate the DD screen in front of the enemy team, you can come up here and use your couple kilometers of concealment to stealth torp. These torps reload ridiculously fast. They're ridiculously fast, good concealment. They hit like a truck. Once you see, you know, the really fast French destroyers going to work on things, it's amazing how fast you can get in, hit things, and when I say hit things, I mean nuke things. If you've watched other CC's videos, I'm sure you've seen, you know, these cruisers are, yeah, it's basically a cruiser without a citadel. But these ships pushing in and having AP loaded, and from, you know, 6 kilometers out, just main battery, hitting main battery reload booster and melting a, you know, a tier 8, tier 9, tier 10 radar ship. They're just ugly that way. And it's actually a really beautiful thing to behold, just watching a destroyer that's, you know, out. It basically is out DPMing a cruiser with its guns. Now here I realize that this game's pretty much lost. My team's loitering around here. This Königsberg, I have no idea what this guy's doing, but he's got, you know, so many battleships that are about to tee off on that guy. I mean, even the Nicholas at these sorts of ranges can just come around the corner and AP him to death. That I'm just gonna go for some of the damage, and what I'm seeing here is a little opportunity here. Now, I did have the ability to sit here and wait for this guy to push up. But it was a clan battle night, and time was getting short, so I just decided to bring the fight to this Texas. Unfortunately, don't have speed boost active here, so you can see how much slower this ship is. I'm faking a turn trying to bait this guy into shooting. He does shoot, and surprise, the Nicholas pops up. I see him on the mini-map. Gonna transition to him, just try to get some damage out on this Nicholas, while I'm still closing distance on this battleship. Got the shots off on the battleship. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get the double strike there, but ended up with a bunch of other stuff. I still don't know how that Königsberg's alive. If I drove a Königsberg like that, I would have been off the map in about 10 seconds. And you can see the DD is going to shoot at this Königsberg here, right here. Or, nope, not there. Right here. Nope, still not here. I don't know what the hell the DD is shooting at. There it is. And you can see just that one short little volley, how much HP that took off the Königsberg. And that's, you know, US destroyer AP on these light cruisers. You know, it's nothing to be joked with inside of 5 kilometers. I don't know why this Nicholas just didn't kill that Königsberg. Just keep shooting the guy. Very easily could have. But anyway, get back to focusing on the French destroyers. This game I felt like had a good introduction with a lot of what to expect. The AP. You're going to see crazy citadels with these things. Particularly once you get further up into the tiers with the 139mm guns. Very good fire chance. Now this is with a demo expert captain with fire flags. But you know, in the result you'll see 11 fires. These things can, if you are good at staying alive, just a constant attrition from your fires. These things can print arsonist and flooding flags all over, or arsonist and wither flags all over the place. Some of these DDs have staggered torp arrangements, so you can even run up liquidator flags by doing the old, you know, give them the torps on one side and then predict where they're going to turn on your offside. And these things are fast enough that, you know, when you whip around in this thing, it's not like you're waiting, you know, 10, 12 seconds to complete that turn. It's completed very quickly, and they have really good torpedo arcs, so you can be pretty quick in getting those torpedoes off if you needed to. Down to one ship left. And again, this pretty much played out how I thought, that the enemy team was just going to keep pushing here and my team was going to keep circling here. And as long as the enemy team had shots coming through here and coming through here, they basically, every time they were in here, they were in a crossfire and they would take a bunch of damage. And you can see he's just now starting to get into that crossfire. Saw the big shot come in from the Bayern. And this game's going to be over here shortly. In hindsight, if I had more time, I would have liked to let this battleship creep up a bit, so I wasn't as exposed coming down. But at the end of the day, it wasn't going to turn the tide on this game. There's just too much meat and potatoes left from the enemy team to really turn this thing around. Come on. So, decent result on a team that, I mean, you get a third of the team can't break 500 XP. Those are rough games. And you can see here a little bit. I'm going to pause this. Um, what I'm talking about with the damage. Only 122 HE hits, 11 fires. Uh, you really can ratchet up pressure with your HE. And then you also look at the effective DPM with your AP. It can be absolutely disgusting getting just broadsides on any ship, and well, maybe not a destroyer because your AP has enough penetration that you just fly right through um, destroyers without any chance to actually land uh, penetrating damage. The only exceptions would be maybe gearing if it's slightly angled, and Kaba. Those are the only two DDs that have enough armor that could arm the AP and you'd actually get pen damage. Um, so this is French destroyers in a nutshell. Once I do have, I believe, up to the tier 7 destroyer. Once you start getting access to the main battery reload booster, that opens up a whole nother aspect play style with these destroyers. But I'm slowly going to get there. I'll think the next French video I'm going to be doing is on the Gepard. Um, I'm not French. I speak German. So if the pronunciation is wrong, um, well, blame it on English and German because my tongue does not talk French. Um, anyway, if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below. Hope you guys are having a good night, and I will talk to you later.